Hi, my name's Anna, and if you're watching this video, it's probably because you chose one of these packs. So this is the Macrame pack for the people of Kinlochleven project. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about what's in the pack, and I'm going to give you some ideas of things you can do. So when you open your pack, like Christmas, you have several things. So you've got your beautiful inspiration cards, okay, to give you some ideas of things that have happened in the community or a bit of history, so you can kind of be inspired to think about what you want to make. You have some different size hoops. There's a metal hoop and some bamboo hoops. There is also a straight piece of wood. It's already got some knotting tied onto it because I was just doing a bit of experimenting, but yours would be blank. I'm going to show you how you can tie knots to it. Then you have actually, they are curtain hoops. These are some recycled curtain hoops. And I thought these would be great because we are asking people who take a pack to give something back. It doesn't have to be everything you make, but maybe one little thing that you've made. If you could give that back via the trust so that we can put them onto a community tree piece that we're going to produce. You all have some string. You have two types of string. Everybody's got a plain twine and you have a coloured twine. Now you can adapt and you could do this with wool as well. So if you've got wool pack or wool at home or different types of string, just experiment and see what you can do. You also have a little bag of beads because sometimes it's quite nice to add these into your different knots, but I put some nice coloured ones in, but you can be interpretive and add anything that you've got on that you would like to add on. Really, they're a really good project for upcycling. So essentially this craft is about knot tying. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to video me actually tying different sorts of knots just to give you some idea of what you want to make. And I'll show you a couple of finished products as well. So here's an example of a circular hanging. Okay, sorry, just get my dog out of the way. So this is a circular hanging, and this one is all using a square knot. So it's simply using repeated the same square knot pattern. So it's a simple, really simple, but it can be really effective. I have actually dip dyed these in food colouring, blue food colouring, just as a nice effect. And obviously you don't have to have them long. You can be as interpretive as you want. So this one is following a particular knot, and I'm going to show you in a minute how to do those knots. But then this one here wasn't following a pattern. This one I just kind of made it up as I went along. And so I quite like the fact that you can move things around and can create different imagery. So for me, representation of Kinlochleven here, I've kind of antlers, since we have our lovely friendly deer that like to roam around in the village. Some of them did try to come down on Friday and maybe wanted a pack. And then the other idea was the lines coming down here, I think kind of resemble the pipes as well. So this was one that I did with thinking, and it is actually freestyling. If you did your knots badge when you were in Brownie or Guides like me, you can really play with the different sorts of knots. It's quite fun to try, and if you've ever done some sailing or anything like that, you'll be pretty good with your knots. So sometimes it's quite nice just to have a look and see what you can do. Okay, it might be easier to start on the straight piece, okay, and I will show you how you can start on this one than the hoops. Okay, and the idea concept could be that when you transfer stuff onto the smaller rings, you can go from across, but you might also just want to hang things down. And if you like braiding or pleating or making friendship bracelets, all the same types of knots you could use, just transfer it over. So it's really, I enjoy it because it's something really freeing. I like to experiment. So have a wee go, and you know, it's just string at the end of the day, so you can cut it and start again. Okay, just beware when you're putting lengths, that when you tie the knots, you lose quite a lot for different sorts of knots. So they do need to be, usually I'll try and make sure they're at least like maybe 1 to 2 meters wide, probably 1 meter for the small ones, but definitely more like 2 meters each string, 2 meters long for the big ones. I just do like 1 or 2 hand spins. Okay, it's not really spinning, but you know, widths. So I'm going to go and show you some knots. So I'm going to start with showing you how to attach your string to whatever it is you want to work on. So this is the same concept whether you're working on a straight piece of wood or a circular ring, either size, it doesn't matter. So you need to attach your string to the rods. You need to find somewhere to sit it first. Okay, and then you're attaching it with lark heads knot. This is the equivalent of casting on that you might do in knitting. Okay, and my advice would be to put a series of these lark head knots onto whatever it is you're working with. So you're going to fold a piece of string in half. Okay, so generally we cut the strings to be quite long, and you fold it in half, and so you've got a loop halfway at the end. Okay, what you do is you put your loop behind whatever it is you're casting on from. Okay, and then you pull the rest of the string through it. It's probably something you already know how to do unconsciously, but maybe you just don't call it a lark's head knot. And as you can see then, we've got 2 lark's head knots now starting. Okay, and I could keep going and just put a series of them on again. If you want, I'll just do it again quickly, just so we get the idea. Too daisy. That's one of the problems, is sometimes where to put stuff. Okay. So we fold the string in half, we make a loop at the middle, we put the loop behind the rod or whatever it is you're working with, and just pull the rest forward. Okay, and now you can see we have 2 and we're ready to go with our next knot. Okay, so we're going to start with the square knot, trying to find somewhere to put your piece of wood. I've put here over 2 handles because you want to be able to pull on it. Okay, it can be quite difficult to find somewhere to do it. The rings may be easier if you just can hold it in your hands a little bit more, but it is sometimes a challenge trying to work out somewhere to knot from. Okay, so as I said, we're going to use it as a 4, so you've got your 2 pieces on the outsides and 2 in the middle. Okay, we're going to start with the one on the left. Okay, sorry about my dog's footsteps, but that's the practicality. So you're going to start with 2 on the left. You're going to take them over the 2 in the middle. Okay, so they're essentially going, it's a bit more difficult when you're just starting, over the 2 in the middle and under the one on the right. Okay, so you can see it's under the one on the right. Okay, and then you're going to take the one on the right and you're going to put them under the 2 in the middle. Okay, and over the one on the left, so in this little loop here. Okay, and then if you can just try and shimmy that up a little bit. Okay, up to the top. Okay, and then we're going to do exactly the same but repeating from the other side. So this time you're going to take the right string and you're going to take it over the 2 in the middle and you're going to put under the one on the left. Okay, and then you're going to take the one on the left. Whoops, sorry, it is a bit fiddly, especially when I'm trying to lean with the camera. And we're going to take the one on the left under the middle and over the left. Okay, so it's exactly the same, but you're just repeating from the other side. Okay, and then we're going to push and tighten that up. And there you have a square knot. Okay, and then you just start again. Okay, so you start from your left and you go over the middle and under the right. Oh, sorry, over the middle and under the right. And then you take your right one and go under the middle and over the left. Okay, so it's a repetition but alternating on sides, and just push up as you go. Okay, so this time I would be going, starting from the left, and I would be going under the middle and over the right. Okay, and then my left one would be going over the middle and under the left. And just push up as you go. Okay, so you just repeat and you'll come down. Okay, so the pattern is going starting left, over the middle, under the right, and then starting right, under the middle and over the left. And you just repeat as you go down. Okay, now what you can do with this, okay, is I could forget these 2 strings, and if I had another lark's head here, I could now leave these ones for a while and connect with the knots over here. So this is where you can, these could be tied off somewhere or left dangling, and then you could do the same if I could connect some more here and transfer these 2 over here, and that would split and start another section of knots. So you can really be as creative as you like. So it's a nice simplistic square knot that you can then add lots more pieces of string and keep connecting them in different ways. Okay, so really just kind of have a go at it. So if you keep going with that square knot, I thought it might just be good to show your attention to like this was what we've just been doing, and then if you had another 4 on, that's how you can pull in the 2 sides and you can connect it. Okay, and then these 2 are coming over here and connecting here. So that is what you're calling an alternating square knot, and that's the pattern you can have. Now, we all make things sometimes slightly differently, so don't worry if ours all look slightly different. It's about your tension as well and the size of the string, and so different ways it looks different. But this is just the same. So here I've got 1, 2, so 2, 4, 6. So I've got 8 lockhead knots, and then just been alternating the square knot as we go. And so that's called your alternating square knot. Okay, so now you've done that one, let's try and do a spiral knot because it's got a really similar technique. So I'm going to come back to my straight one. Okay, so, and I've got 2 locks head knots on it ready to go. Get it into that comfortable position. Let's get so you guys can see too. Okay, so here we go. We've got our 2 locks head knots on, and we've got our 4 pieces of string. Now this is the spiral one, is essentially what you've already done. Okay, but in the square knot, how we alternated each sides, you just repeat the same thing. Okay, so for it to do a spiral knot, you're essentially going to take your left one over the middle 2 and put it under. Okay, and then take the right one, whoops-a-daisy, under and through the loop of the side one. So exactly the same as the square knot. Okay, but instead of now swapping sides and taking the right side first, you just keep going with your left side. Sorry, because I've not got it in such a comfortable position. You can see that's why I said sometimes attaching yourself to a clothes rail or something like that, pegging yourself somewhere. Okay, so we're taking our left, okay, and we're putting it over, and we're going under the right one, and then we're taking our right under and going over the left one. Okay, and then just pulling it up. And what you're going to get is just a series of knots that are repeated, and they almost look like they're going around in a circle. Okay, so we're taking our left one over the middle and under the right, and then taking the right one under the middle and over the left. Okay, and you're just repeating it. And you know what? If you make a wee mistake every now and again or put it in the wrong space, it's a knot. It's okay. Okay, and eventually what you'll start to notice is the knots almost spinning around. Okay, so keep going, and that is called a spiral knot. Just give it a shot and see what turns up. So the last kind of knot I'm going to try and show you is a hitch, some people call it half hitch. Okay, so I've tied on 3 locks heads, so I've got 6 strings, and I'm going to start with this one on the left. Okay, so I'm going to cross over the next one to me. I'm just going to go over it and bring it under. Okay, and I'm going to push it up, and I'm going to do it again. So this string is the lead string, so it's not making the knot, the other string is. So it's going over and coming under through that loop there, and push that knot back up. Okay, and then keeping this lead string, I'm going to move on and use the next piece. Okay, so this one's being tied onto, I suppose you could say. So I'm going to take this next one and put it over it and under, and push the knot up, and again over and under and push the knot up. So I'm doing it twice, and then I'm moving on. So I'm taking the next string again, and I'm going over and under. You can use 2 hands, but I'm just trying to show you it. And again, twice over and under. And what you'll see is you can hopefully start to see that this is moving along the strings, moving down. So move on and do the next one. Okay, so I'm going over and under, making sure you move your knot up, and again over and under, moving your knot up. And then the last one in these ones, so it's going over and under and coming up, and then over and under, pull it all the way through and coming up and pull your knot up. So now you can see that they're all connected. Yeah, and then we're going to come back the way. Okay, so the lead string has no longer become the lead string, it'll be the next one. Okay, so this time I'm going over and under this way. I'm going to do it twice, and this is now my lead string, over and under this way, and I just take the next one. Okay, so over and under, I'm pushing it up, I'm doing it twice. Okay, and then taking the next one along, over and under, and you'll get used to your kind of, a bit like knitting, you'll get your own, sorry, I'm trying to see that, your own kind of regular use for tension, and pushing your knots up. You'll get better at doing it, and you can see it's starting to come back the way again now. Okay, and you can just repeat going back and forth, back and forth. Okay, it's a really nice one to experiment with. So please just experiment with the different sorts of knots. So hopefully that gives you an idea of some way to get started with the knots for macrame. Have a look out there, there's lots of different techniques. You will find your own method, and feel free to experiment. Okay, have lots of fun, and I hope to see some beautiful creations.